Horror cinema is always in search of an ideal scary setting. It could be a decrepit cabin in the woods, deep sea, a creepy small town, or a post-apocalyptic landscape. Add a monster or the paranormal into the mix, and horror films can profoundly evoke primal fears. Fear of isolation, fear of the unknown, and fear of death. As horror stretched itself to find new frontiers to terrorize us, it stumbled upon a unique setting, outer space. With its near absolute zero temperature, effects of microgravity, radiation exposure, and meteoroid impacts, space is absolutely hostile to our species. A more palpable horror creeps in when you wonder what's awaiting us in the blanket of darkness. In 1979, horror cinema's space outing hit its peak. Gone are the Cold War era sci-fi's extraterrestrial invasions and the ambiguous symbolism of Star Child in 2001. Here is an unwanted guest who hitched a ride in a commercial space freighter with a crew of futuristic blue-collar workers. Soon, the grungy, claustrophobic spaceship is turned into a haunted house. Some things are better left undisturbed in the universe, because when the brute force of Xenomorph meets unchecked corporate greed, your chances of survival are minimal. George Méliès's spectacles show that even during the cinematic medium's infancy, science fiction and fantasy captured the audience's attention. But horror overtones crept into sci-fi with the rise of mad scientist films. These are cautionary tales about the pursuit of knowledge, driven by obsessive desire and excessive pride which subvert ethical responsibility. Later, in the 1950s, with the dawn of the space age and fears of atomic warfare, sci-fi films extrapolated and exaggerated the socio-political horrors of the time. The overt and silent threat of extraterrestrial invasions became allegories for the alleged threat of the Cold War and communism. Movies did blast off from Earth in the 50s to offer schlocky conceptualizations of what life looked like on other planets. This was the age of flying saucers and humanoid aliens with weird technologies. Soviet or Eastern Bloc sci-fi films of the era, despite strict ideological oversight, explored the unknown with a level of technical credibility that even inspired Hollywood filmmakers. However, the vast and enigmatic expanse of space and the true dangers of space exploration were handled with a sense of realism only in this landmark sci-fi classic. Kubrick created an authentic sense of isolation integral to the film's cosmic setting. Moreover, with an antagonistic AI that buckles under the pressure of navigating the ethical gray areas, a sense of unease and dread accompanies interstellar space travel. But the defining moment of space horror only came a decade later. The symbiotic creative partnership between H.R. Giger, Dan O'Bannon, and Ridley Scott was at the heart of this hauntingly beautiful horror. Alien can be read through the lens of gender, sexuality, and psychosexuality. Yet, the foremost reason for the film's enduring legacy is the way it immerses us in an atmosphere of dread and anticipation. The film opens with Scott offering us a glimpse of the commercial towing vehicle Nostromo. The hugeness of the vessel, which is an insignificant speck in the vastness of space, instantly evokes a feeling of discomfort. Then the camera glides through Nostromo's lower decks, empty corridors, dining room, and to the control room. The hum of the vessel, combined with the dark lighting, emphasizes the mood of eerie isolation. As the crew wakes up from their clinically white stasis chambers, we are absorbed into the reality of the film and ready to engage with the experience. Such a muted and restrained opening that contrasts with the later moments of terror was evident in the other horror classics of the era. The subsequent breakfast scene establishes Nostromo's diverse crew of 7. The setting is deep space in the year 2122, but their easy conversations and grumbles about job dissatisfaction show that these are just regular working-class people, subservient to hierarchy and company clauses.
There is a clause in the contract which specifically states any systematized transmission indicating a possible intelligent origin must be investigated.
I don't want to hear it. We don't know that's intelligent.
I want to go home and party.
Parker, will you just listen to the man?
A pervasive sense of doom and claustrophobia lingers as the Nostromo crew reaches the sunless, storm-lashed LV-426. As the unfortunate trio zero in on the unknown source of transmission, we are introduced to Giger's truly nightmarish design of the horseshoe-shaped alien ship. The derelict ship epitomizes Giger's biomechanical aesthetic, whose melding of organic and metal structures feels unsettlingly alive. The alien ship's juxtaposition of Gothic and futuristic elements sharply contrasts with Nostromo's industrial design. The known ease of space travel is now replaced with an unknown sense of mystery and foreboding. What tore through the skulled humanoid-like alien known as Space Jockey? What is this vast, cavernous chamber that harbors hundreds of eggs? When the dormant egg instinctually unleashes itself on Kane, Scott immediately cuts to Nostromo. There, our deep-seated fears of bodily violation and loss of control are played out, as there is no remedy to the parasitic threat of the facehugger. The narrative lulls us into a false sense of calm with Kane's recovery. Then comes the landmark moment of horror cinema. A grotesque birth process that terrifies us on a primal level. The visual centerpiece of Alien is the Xenomorph, which appears on screen for approximately 4 minutes. Armed with acidic blood, razor-sharp teeth, and a mobile inner jaw that shoots out to puncture and devour flesh, the Xenomorph is truly a formidable creature. The long, smooth phallic skull and the segmented body further contribute to its terrifying appearance. As the rapidly growing Xenomorph prowls around the empty spaces of Nostromo, slasher and haunted house tropes are incorporated into the narrative. The dark, labyrinthine, stream-emitting and water-dripping space vessel is nothing like a USS Enterprise. Unlike Captain Kirk's spacefaring missions, Nostromo's twisted passageways give us the feeling of being stuck in space, facing the deadly alien threat. Of course, as established in Alien, the company which deems its workforce expendable in the face of economic gain is even more of a threat to the human race than the parasitic, predatory creature. In space, no one can escape the ruthless paymasters and their insiders. Alien's basic premise was so successful that it became a template of sorts. A racially and sexually diverse crew placed in a spaceship, underwater research facility, or hostile planet becomes the target of a horrific creature. Such endless iterations have certainly exhausted the genre. Even within the Alien franchise, the original's creepy power couldn't be perfectly recreated. Particularly, Ridley Scott's prequels, which, despite the philosophical sheen and a return to the Gothic roots, proved to be underwhelming due to unremarkable writing and exceptionally stupid characters. Romulus returns to the haunted house basics, but it doesn't break any new ground except for the ghastly human xenomorph hybrid. Although space horror is a creative stasis, some of Alien's pivotal themes such as coldness and isolation of space and corporate exploitation have been explored in more impactful ways in films such as Sunshine and Moon. With each delightfully innovative tale of survival and exploration set in this desolate and hostile environment, we can't help but feel the influences of two groundbreaking Hollywood space movies. Ultimately, Scott's Alien still holds up because of the way it arouses our atavistic fears. What about you, Jonesy? Were you afraid? Do you have any survival tips?